Share with your friends and family, and anybody who is entrepreneurship, who is in self-development, who would want to have such topics. So what you must study as an entrepreneur, it builds your content. You studying builds your content. They say that a lot of people never read any book from January to December. After school, they don't open any book at all. Most people will open a book because they want to write exam. They want to get promotion at work. Very few people read books intentionally to develop themselves. So why you must read, why you must study as an entrepreneur is because it builds your content. And without the right content, it's very difficult for you to get results with this journey as an entrepreneur, especially those of you who want to be honest with this journey, who want to be ethical. You must have the right content. You must have the right information. You must have the right mindset. So if you don't have that, the journey becomes very much difficult. They say that the best of CEOs, they read about 4 books every month. 4 books a month, thick books. And most average people never read any book at all in a whole year. So you can understand why some people are very much highly productive and why some people are just average or poor. Even in terms of money, the very top of the game, they are always looking for knowledge. That's why they have money. And the poor, they are looking for entertainment and sports and other things that you know. Why? Because studying, learning is key to you becoming very much productive in life. So the next one is that it gives you constructive thinking. Most people have opinion on everything, but they are not constructive. And without you being intentional about any subject, let's say money, if you pick 4 books on money, or you pick 4 books on entrepreneurship or marriage, anything that is very much important to you, you read about them, you start to get different understanding. Things that are based on data, they have done a lot of studies on that. You study that, you start to get the right understanding of how things must be done. And those who are very much innovatively driven, they are always looking for knowledge. The other ones who don't change, they don't like any knowledge at all. So this one will give you constructive thinking once you commit to your learning. What is it that you're studying? From January to this time, how many books have you read? Which books have you read? How many videos have you watched? From Monday to Saturday, or Monday to Sunday, what are the topics what is your timetable? Monday, what do you study? Tuesday, what do you study? Thursday, what do you study? You must have a timetable that you're constantly developing yourself with. A timetable. Because without that, the journey becomes difficult. So most people, they say entrepreneurship is difficult, we agree. But the most difficult part is that we are not committed to learning constantly. So you must be reading book every day. You must be studying every day. You must be watching something intentional. You should not just be watching sports and listening to music and political talk shows all the time. That's what majority of our people do. You see that they are watching politics somewhere, or a lot of religious. Most people, what they read is religious books, or morning devotion, that's all. They don't stretch themselves beyond anything. And that's why sometimes it becomes very difficult for them to get the required skill set, because the required skill set will call for you to be updated with the right knowledge. So without that, you don't develop the required knowledge that you need for the journey. And without the required knowledge, the journey, it becomes very difficult. So why you must study is because it gives you the right knowledge for the journey. It gives you the right knowledge for the journey. One of the abilities that you must have as an entrepreneur is the ability to structure and be able to set your business processes rightly. And without you studying, learning, asking questions, it will be very difficult for you to structure your business and put the right systems and even pick the right people to work with you and have the required tools to train them. You must be somebody who always has a quest for knowledge, and you're always upgrading yourself. For you to build the best of a business culture, you must be somebody who is always driven towards knowledge. You're always looking for information, you're always studying, you're always learning, you're always listening to something. It's so critical. It's so critical. So a lot of times you see people are building businesses, but they don't have anything that you're reading. They don't have anything that you're studying. They don't search anything. And yet they can read, they can write. No, you must be reading. If you can't read 4 books a month, you can read at least 1 chapter a month. You must be committed to reading something. You must be committed to watching something. No matter how tired you are, there should be something that you're always training with. On your phone, there should be something. In your car, you are listening to something. That's how you win. You must always be upgrading yourself. You must always be agreed to yourself, because for you to do that means that you are creating the content required for the journey. So, and one of the things that you need as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, is reasoning power. And the more you read, the more you study, the more you stretch your mind, the more you're able to reason well. And without you reasoning well, the journey becomes difficult. Anybody can say anything and you believe it, because your reasoning power is low. You become so much superstitiously, you become so much superstitious, and so you are driven by superstition, because your ability to reason comes down. So you need somebody to, and your results is predictable, because you read, you search, you study. That's what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship is a constant process of learning, because the mistakes are so many. You must always be learning all the time. You'll be learning about the money, you'll be learning about the product, you'll be learning about the processes, you'll be learning about the systems, the structures, you'll be learning about, the team, how you are building it. All the conflicting inner talkings that you do, you must have them under control. You become optimistic when you have the right perspective, and those things come out of you learning, out of you studying. So you must have a timetable. Why you must study? You must study so that you can get clear thinking. You can develop the right content. You can be constructive in your processes, in your thought processes, and you'll be able to build systems and structures, because then now you have the best innovators are people who are driven by knowledge. Best innovators. If you go to an environment where they don't like knowledge, everything is still the same. 20 years, they still do the same thing. They don't challenge anything. They don't challenge any status quo. They say that is the culture. No problem. The culture is good. But when you want to get results and productive and grow, you must have knowledge. You must test for that. There should be always people who are asking why this cannot be updated. Why can't we change the method? And you can always ask those, because you are asking. You are getting new knowledge. You are always feeding yourself with new things. So you must have your own plan to study. Read a book at least a month if you're an entrepreneur. Watch videos that will feed you, not sports, not entertainment, not music. You cannot be listening to music all the time. You have the fun, you laugh, you smile, you dance, then you go back, the problem is still there. Because that will change the situation. What will get you growth and results is not just fun. They demand intensive thinking. And production is always better than consumption. The one who is producing will always lead the one who is always consuming. So you must be productively driven, and those things call for being intentional about you studying. So why you must study as an entrepreneur is because without that, you don't win. You may not like how to read. You may not like reading books, but you have to read, because that is required. You may not like to eat, but if you don't eat, the body will not work. You may not like drinking water, but it is needed if you want to live in health. It's the same. It's the same. You may not like reading, but if you're an entrepreneur, you must read. If you want to succeed in anything, you must read. You must search. You must stretch your mind. You must ask questions. You must always be looking for something. And it's easier now. The internet is there. A lot of books on the internet. Read them. Study them. But even though a lot of them have been written by not Africans, but white people and Americans and those people, at least you can still get some generic points that can guide you, but you still have to re-customize them to apply in the environment that you operate. But at least feed something. It's better to read than not to read at all. It's better to study than not to study at all. So that's how you develop. That's how you grow. So when somebody meets you, say, now you're sharp. It's because you're studying, you're reading, you're stretching yourself. You are always changing. Now, when they ask you a question, your thought processes are different. The answers that you give are different. There's no magic to it. The only thing is that you are studying. That's why you're becoming better. That's why you're winning. And that's why you don't feel frustrated when you even meet problems. That's how you sharpen your problem-solving skills. That's why you become creative in your thinking. If you feed yourself, if you feed yourself, that's why you become prompt. That's why you don't give excuses, because you're always feeding yourself. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.